Opposite numbers are those numbers that are the same distance away from zero, but in opposite directions on the number line. You can see on this number line that -4 and +4 are opposites. I know that because when I look at 0, +4 is located 4 units to the right. -4 is located 4 units to the left. So although they are in opposite directions, they are the same distance away from 0, which makes these opposite numbers. We can graph numbers and their opposites on number lines by plotting the first number. So in this case, we are going to plot 3. I have a vertical number line, which means to get to 3, I would move 3 units up from 0. So I would place a point here at +3. 3's opposite is going to be the number that is in the opposite direction, but 3 units away. So since I moved 3 units up to get to +3, I would need to move 3 units down, and that would put me at -3. So the opposite of 3 is -3. I can plot -8 and its opposite on the number line. To get to -8, I know that I would start at 0, and because the number is negative, I would move left, and I would need to move left 8 units to get to -8. To find -8's opposite, I would go back to 0, and since I had to move left to get to -8, I would need to move right to find its opposite. I moved 8 units left to get to -8, so I will need to move 8 units right to find its opposite, which lands me at +8. So -8 and +8 are opposite numbers. Now I'm going to plot 2.5 and its opposite on the number line. If I start at 0 and I move to 2.5, I know that 2.5 is located a little bit past 2 but before 3. 2.5 is halfway between 2 and 3, so I'm going to put a point right here. To get to 2.5, I moved up 1, 2.5 units. That means to get to 2.5's opposite, I would need to move down 1, 2.5 units, which puts me right here. This number is right in between -2 and -3, which makes this number -2.5. So my opposites are 2.5 and -2.5. Now I'm going to plot 5 3/4 and its opposite on the number line. To get to 5 3/4, I know that I would need to move to 5 3/4 on the number line, which is right. I would move 5 units, but I wouldn't quite be to 5 3/4. I know that if I'm looking at 5 3/4, 1/2 is right here in the middle of 5 and 6, and 3/4 is right in between that. So 5 3/4 would be right here on my number line. To get there, I moved 5 3/4 units to the right. That means to find 5 3/4 opposite, I would need to move 5 3/4 units to the left. So I would move 5, and then I would need to move 3/4 more units to get to -5 3/4 on my number line.